Hi, I'm Jake with Sprouting Spoons, and in case you weren't feeling healthy enough, today we're going to be making a kale and orzo salad. For today's class, we're going to be needing about a cup of orzo, a tablespoon or two of honey, about a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar, one bunch of kale, about 1/3 to half a cup of unflavored oil, such as vegetable oil or canola oil, a quarter cup or however much you like of Parmesan cheese, one apple. We're going to be using a Honeycrisp because we like how sweet and sweet it is. And then we have about 1/4 cup of almonds that we're going to have chopped up. They're roasted and salted, and 1 clove of garlic. So we're going to start out by cooking our orzo first. So we have about a quart of water that's already boiling, and we've salted it pretty heavily. And then we have our orzo that we're just going to pour right in. And we're going to boil it for about 7 minutes or so. And give it a little stir until the pasta itself is nice and tender, and then we'll let it cool down. So while your orzo cooks, we're going to go ahead and start making our salad dressing real quick. So we have a clove of garlic that right here with the skin removed. We're going to just set our knife on top of it and press down real quick and kind of give it a nice crush a couple times. You'll notice how it starts to break apart on you. And then we'll go ahead and run our knife over it a few times, just to break it into smaller pieces. And at that point, you can run your knife, squishing it into the board again. This will just keep squishing it and making it more of a paste. Do this a few times. The idea is that it will be a little bit smoother and break into your dressing pretty nice. Broken down, you can go ahead and put it in a large bowl. And to that, you can go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of honey. It's kind of to your preference. I like it a little sweeter, so I'm going to go about 2 tablespoons. Then you're going to add in your apple cider vinegar and your unflavored oil. And you're going to go ahead and whisk that together. So then you're going to take your kale, and we're going to strip off all of the stems. So we're going to take these lower leaves, and just pull it a little bit, and then we're going to, just like a zipper, come in and pull off the larger leaves from it. Usually it just slides off really quick, but the stems on this are just a little too tender. There we go. The idea is just to get any big, tough pieces out. Because we're not going to cook this kale, we're just going to massage it a little bit and let the vinegar break it down so it gets nice and tender that way. So we don't want any big, tough pieces in there. So once you have your kale all trimmed from the stems, you're going to take your knife and just kind of bunch it together and give it a little bit of cutting right in there, just to make more bite-sized pieces. It's always to err and go a little smaller than larger with this. So go over it a few times. And you're going to transfer it into another little bowl over here. Tear up any little pieces that you find, or large pieces I should say. And then you're just going to kind of come in here and squish it with your hands a little bit. You'll notice that it'll change colors, so it'll be a little bit brighter, and it'll start breaking down on you. It'll release a lot of aromas. This is just going to make it a little bit more tender. So after you've given your kale a nice little massage and it started breaking down, and you notice all that color change, you can go ahead and add it into your vinaigrette. That's going to go ahead. That's going to actually make it more tender and continue to break it down, because the acidity in it will kind of just break down all of that lettuce from it. And then we'll add in our apples and all of the other tasty bits like the almonds and cheese, And the orzo will go in after it's cooked and chilled. So while our orzo continues to cook, we're going to go ahead and dice up our apples and chop up the almonds, and we'll add those in with the vinaigrette. That way the apples don't turn colors and some of that almondy flavor can start marrying out into the rest of the recipe. Now that our orzo is fully cooked, and you can tell that because it's doubled in size or so, and it's become nice and tender to the tooth, we're going to go ahead and spread it out on a tray and get it nice and cool to add into our salad. It's nice and cold, we're going to go ahead and mix it in with our nice and wilted kale, with all the goodies in there, all the almonds and apples. I'm just going to give it a nice little stir around. Get it all nice mixed up, get that vinaigrette all over the pasta. Make sure it's all nice and lovely. This would probably be good to let rest for a couple hours or so, just for all the flavors to come together. But if you don't have that time, I'm sure it's going to be delicious right now. We're going to add in some of our Parmesan. Add in as much as you'd like. Just remember that it's awfully salty, so you don't want to add too terribly much. And you can always save some for the top too. So I'm going to go ahead and just dish some up now, although like I said, it would probably do well to let those flavors sit on there for a little bit. But with how nice and soft that kale's looking, I think it's going to be a real winner. Cheese, right? More cheese. Okay. Got some kale, apple, almond, some lovely little vinaigrette on all that. There's so many textures going on with the apple and almond. That vinaigrette really just so bright and really makes the whole thing just come together real nice. I think you're going to love this lovely little pasta salad. It's great for the winter time. Anytime, really. See you next time.